Transmission incoming. Connected.
Welcome to episode 17 of Broken Blasted podcast. We've got full house today. Everyone's here.
Woo! Yo.
Yeah, there it is. A couple of weeks ago, we suggested that we might be in the Golden Age of Warhammer 40k, and it's fair to say there was some disagreement from our listeners, so we thought naturally we'd revisit the subject. Welcome to Are We in the Golden Age of Warhammer Part 2? We've got some Grimdark Would You Rathers, and we've got a Who Would Win as well, so stick around to the end to find out who we are pitching against who. So, Grimdark Would You Rather?
So you're an Inquisitor floating around on your big ship, and you run into some issues with your Geller field. Unfortunately, you can either get it repaired by your local Orc boy or your friendly Dark Eldar neighbour. Who would you rather get it repaired by? Who are you going to trust with that fairly delicate piece of machinery? Let's go with Steve first.
I don't really know what the implications about it. So an Orc boy, you probably have to keep him around, because if he believes it works, then it works. But if he disappears, it probably will stop working, right?
But if he gets distracted...
Yeah, but then it's always going to be more fun having an Orc knocking around, isn't it? So I think I'm going to go with the Orc, to be honest.
Cool.
Final answer.
I can see Connor nodding away there. What are you thinking?
It's a normal Orc boy, yeah? Normal Orc.
He's read the manual, though.
He's not a big mech, is he?
No, but he knows his way around a machine.
I love the Dark Eldar, to be fair.
He's got his diploma.
Yeah, Dark Eldar then, yeah. Because it's only going to be an issue if people start going missing, isn't it? And as an Inquisitor, as an Inquisitor, right, you'll have a few prisoners on board, won't you? So it's a fair trade, isn't it? You give them the prisoners that you don't want anymore. The Dark Eldar gets the pain and suffering.
Okay.
You get your Gellerfield fixed. There you go. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, you know.
But they might rig it, so when you crank it on, that's you gone.
I quite like how Connor's brain instantly went to just like, I'll just feed him some prisoners.
You know, this is the Imperium,
that was a really 40k answer. Yeah.
It's the Imperium, isn't it?
Tuned right in, yeah.
As a towel player, I'd never trust Drukhari, but that's the more accurate way. But as an Inquisitor, you wouldn't care,
you've got some pretty good experience to say that's not going to work in the long run. But
we tried that, done that.
Nice. Shall we hear from James?
Yeah, he's looking very pensive there, very thoughtful.
I do like Connor's answer. I think he's stumbled on something there. Sacrificing those traitorous prisoners. But I'd go for the Orc. I'd go for the Orc. He'd do his best, and like you said, if he really believes it's going to work, I'd probably keep him on board, like you said, so that he's part and parcel with his work needs to work. Otherwise, he's going to be attacked by the warp as well.
The other issue there is I'm fairly sure I've read a story about some Orc boys who realised if they turned off the Geller field, they could have a really great time for an hour or two. So you might just halfway through be like, I'm pretty bored.
They do like a rumble. Yeah, that's true. I'd still go with the Orc.
Solid.
Matt, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Orc for comedy value, because you'd probably fix it, but whenever you turned it on, all the blenders in the kitchen would go on, because it's hardwired something in, all the lights would go out in the bridge whenever the Geller field was on. There was something that would be quite amusing, really.
I quite like that.
And every time we fixed
Could be
it,
one
we'd
of
do
those
something
things
else.
It could work the opposite way around as well. So say you're the Inquisitor, you just turn around and light off, and the
turn
whole
around, the
thing
light
just
on the
shuts
Geller
down.
field goes off.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think an Inquisitor could get away with just having an Orc as a permanent companion? Part of his.
No, not a chance.
Retinue.
Is that pushing it a bit far?
Yeah.
That's why they or maybe I'm thinking more of rogue traders could maybe get away with that.
The Orc would just fuck it up for you, wouldn't he?
Depends on the Orc.
You're doing a diplomatic mission, Yeah, you're talking to some tower, and a random Orc boy is just going to come up and hit you or something. It's just going to be stupid, You can't control an Orc.
Orc's famously good at being good at diplomacy as well.
You can't diplo with an Orc.
No, we got a big bag of teeth.
I feel like early editions of Warhammer, there was a lot more leeway with the law in terms of, orcs and space marines could maybe ally every now and then, and orcs and humans maybe trade a bit more. But nowadays, it's just like they've taken a much harder line, haven't they?
Yeah.
Orcs help when they don't even mean to help, though.
I think they also hinder when they don't even mean to hinder.
It's a fine line.
Like,
Yeah.
they'll attack anyone for a good scrap, won't they?
It's like having a 3-year-old in the kitchen with you. They're keen to help, but
Yeah,
whether they're helpful or not, something else.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. That's a very good analogy.
Love it.
All right, cool. What about our next one then?
I have got one. So, you have to play the faction you hate the most for a year, or you have to watch somebody play your faction the worst it could ever be played, and they will never get better.
Okay, next question, please. When you say you have to watch them, do you have to go once a week to your local club and watch someone play with your army or something? Or how
Yeah,
does it work?
you have to watch someone ruin your army's win rate for everything. Every event you go to, they're there with you playing your army horribly. But they also think they know better than you at the same time as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They think you're wrong and they're right. Or you can take the easy way.
Even though they keep losing.
Or play the faction you hate the most for a full year, which means you've got to build the army, paint the army, and then play the army. So you've got to put all the effort into an army
James,
you hate.
James, what do you reckon?
It's obviously Custodes.
You're not actually name them.
Straight in that.
I know you got
Oh,
them
is
in
it
red.
anymore?
Those new
Is
models
it
are
anymore?
nice.
Yeah.
That's
super
that's
nice.
a
Get some
glow
of those, get some of those bodybuilding lasses on your team.
No. But I think I'd do that. I think I'd rather still be playing the game with those oily gym bros and girls.
You can
And,
still play. You can still play with
yeah.
your faction. You just have to watch someone massacre your faction for the rest of your 40k life span. Every time you play your faction, there's someone there who thinks they know better and they lose all the time, and you can't help them.
No, I don't need that kind of interaction in my life, Connor. I don't need that. I don't need that person.
Yeah.
I'll play with Custodes for a year. Know your enemy. I'll learn a few tricks.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Dan, what do you reckon?
I think it's going to have to be just learning to play with custodes and building a new custodes army. The only thing there, though, is like if the other guy's just playing your faction and just wrecking the win rate at your sort of like local tournaments, it does just make you look better because you're like, yeah, our win rate's only like 20%, but I still managed to win the odd match with them, maybe.
It would desolate your enjoyment for a whole year of the hobby.
Just what? All
No,
right,
this is forever. The custodes is just a year. The other one's forever.
Oh yeah, custodes.
Forever.
Yeah.
That's
custodes, man.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Matt?
I think I would take my least favourite faction because I've had to build it and paint it. I mean, that's just time spent. That's all experience. And then, as James said, know thy enemy.
This
It
doesn't
might
have to
also
be
give you a
40k
new appreciation
either.
of it as well.
Yeah. That's it.
This doesn't have to be 40k either. It's just the worst faction that you can't stand. So you could be playing fantasy. You could be playing Lord of the Rings orcs here, Matt.
Oh, God, this goalpost
I'll watch
is just
somebody else
flying all
just-
over the place, aren't they?
Don't touch it.
No.
Oh, wait a minute.
I just realised that you can't stand it, can you?
No, I stand by my answer.
Go on, Mr.
Connor,
Beck.
what did you think when you were pitching this one?
You haven't answered it yet. I'll let you answer it first.
No, I haven't. I think I'd have to play my least favorite faction. Yeah, just same reasons as everyone else. And also, I do think even if it was your least favorite faction, I think once you'd painted it and once you'd played with them for a little while, I think you'd warm to it a bit,
Yeah.
at least.
Well, yeah, I
At
think you
least.
would.
And then you could sell it afterwards. Happy days.
Nice.
I think I'd do the second one personally. I think I'd deal with the guy who ruins your faction.
For the rest of your life, Connor.
But hear me out. Hear me out here. So there'll be somebody in my club now that'll play Tau worse than ever, and I won't listen to me. But I can still play Tau. I can then switch to Space Marines. I could switch to Orcs. I don't have to stay playing Tau for the rest of my life. And if I did, I could just shit talk the other guy for the rest of my life as well. Like, everybody's going to respect me over them. They'll just become a joke.
So basically, you just wanted a reason just to shit talk someone for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
And you all fell into the
Swigging his vodka and coke there. Oh, crikey. Cool, thanks. So, chaps, are we in the golden age of Warhammer 40k? That's the big question. Just to sort of recap a little bit. So when we were talking about this before, we were looking at, it wasn't just the game, the way the game played. We were looking at the whole kind of everything surrounding the hobby. So the models now, the painting standards, the community, the things outside of what Games Workshop are producing, like TV shows and animations and YouTube, stuff like that, as well as obviously the game and the lore, books, just everything. Yeah, as I said, we did have a lot of comments, people really drilling into more the game system, it seemed. So a lot of people disagreed and thought that previous editions of 40k were better for whatever reason. And Connor's raised his hand.
Being
Did you
civil.
need to do that?
I did, yes.
Oh dear. Okay, well, yeah, good time for you to pitch in there, Connor. Please,
I'm going to take it
the floor is open.
from another...
Matt's raised his hand as well. Sorry, no more time. Matt.
Interjection.
I'm going to...
Yeah.
I'm going to take it from another angle here. So rather than the game system, I'm going to go from the hobby side, a side that I'm not very accurate with, but I would say the models are a lot better than they were in 5th and 6th edition. But also, I would say the third-party market for 40k has gotten massive. If I want something now, because of the technological advances, I can get someone to 3D print it. Anything I want can be 3D printed that Games Workshop themselves doesn't. And you couldn't do that back in the day, could you? It was what GW had, or nothing at all. Now you can get as many heads as you wanted, you can get different weapons, you can do whatever you want now, and that's something that was never there. Games Workshop could, in theory, clamp down on this as more than they do, but they don't, do they?
So I think we raised this when we were on the last one, but I think we kind of came to the agreement, well, that's amazing for, say, like bases, or if I need a bunch of purity seals. But I think for anything more than that, I reckon I could pick out non-Games Workshop stuff 99% of the time. There's something about it. I think, Steve, you agreed as well. There's something about it that you look at it and you just go like, that's not Games Workshop. It doesn't quite fit. So I feel like that's maybe once they've solved that problem, whatever it is, then that would be the golden age.
Stevens had, like with my Voidbreaker, you had 4 fusion blasters and 2 of them were 3D printed. You can't tell the difference. That might just be because Stephen's a fantastic painter and you can't tell that way. But there you go. But as the guy who painted them, could you tell the difference?
So I could when they were in hand, because they're different materials. They weigh, they feel different in hand. But once you clean them up, base coated them, then that was it. I wouldn't really have been, and it didn't jump out at me. So yeah.
What's the
totally valid.
detail level like on those sorts of things? Because it
It's
sounds
really
like I'm going to have to
dependent.
completely eat
bad.
my words from 2 minutes ago of saying I can pick it all out from like.
It really just depends
Um,
on. So to put it
yeah.
in a little bit of context, I recently lost a part of a model and asked some 3D printers, like, can you replace this part? And it was almost impossible because the copies that they had, they were, I guess, 3D scans of that part. And because that part was so small, it wasn't very accurate. And then the one they sent out was too small. In the end, I just rebought the kit because it just was taking too long. So I think it depends if you can, maybe it depends on the part, depends on the person who's sending it, depends on the person who's scanned. So there's a few more hoops to jump through, maybe.
Yeah, I think if you're
Okay.
working off scans, the quality is not as good. It's not. I've done armies that were 3D scans of sprues, and yeah, the fit's not great. The details a bit wonky, and you're dealing with mold lines. It'll print the mold line, which is just mad. But when you have somebody who's then actually designed a model from scratch, CAD or whatever, when you have that printed, it's like night and day. Because I've seen stuff from certain creators that, and if it comes from and then print quality, what is it being printed on? What is the quality of the machine? The quality of the definition level of the print can go quite small if it's a really good printer. So all that leads into it. I know I've had some stuff that's been incredible, really detailed and really nice to work with, and other stuff that's been horrific. So there's a lot of variance there, but I think if you're getting something that's fresh designed from somebody, your quality is going to be better off the bat. But it's like taking a photocopy of a photocopy and then photocopying it. It's just when you go that way, you're just every step you're losing detail.
Any sort of shout outs on the really high quality guys? Like any sort of ranges where you're like, these guys are doing amazing work?
I got some Thunderwolf carve from Cults 3D. Were very good. His range is quite nice. Who
are the guys that do the weapon effects and the?
I know this.
What are they called?
They get tabletop. What's it called? They get sponsored by them all the time, don't they? 40k, 40 minutes. What gets sponsored them all the time, don't they? Oh,
wait a minute.
Welcome to the trivia section.
Yeah,
answers on a postcard.
Yeah, we'll look it up in a second. But
that's an idea for an episode, by the way. 40k pub quiz.
Oh, I'd love that.
Just get everyone sat there with a pint and work through the questions.
But just quickly on the
Deadly
3D
Print Studios.
We'll find the name for that. Deadly Print Studios.
Deadly Print Studios.
They are filling a niche that Games Workshop don't have. Just like Connor, you were saying, like Games Workshop, they basically, that's getting quite a big company now. Games Workshop, leave them alone because it's not a direct infringement on IP, but
no IP
all those prints are for their models. Yeah, and they look great. Like some of them are freaking awesome. Some of them are great.
It's a taste thing.
I did also. Yes, yeah. Like I wouldn't put them on my models, but for people that like that sort of, that effect, and so I quite like some of the jump pack effects. They're quite good. Yeah. So there's definitely stuff you can get now. I did also accidentally sort of order a set of 3D printed heavy intercessors, and genuinely I thought I was buying a plastic version, but some 3D printed versions came, and they were impeccable. Like honestly, you could not have told once I put one or two together. There's no way you would have been able to tell those were printed over plastic. So I don't know how those were produced, or they came from Ukraine, I think. So don't know. What about the gaming side of things then? Are we? Because I guess we're missing a little bit of data here, aren't we? Because a few of us played very early editions, and then we've all come in. So Connor, you can probably fill some of the gaps, but we've sort of got like a bit of a hole from like 3rd edition to 7th, 10th, 6th.
I was watching.
Yeah.
I was watching a video actually yesterday. Art of Warders put out about how it's changed over the years. 40k. I did some research myself and looked into it. There was some stupid. Everybody says, the older editions were the best, but at a competitive level, there was some absolute broken mechanics in there. Like the stuff like you wouldn't dream of today. There's like different activations. It's so much more complex, and the scene was nowhere near as big. Now you look now, there's like 20 GTs in the UKTC circuit alone every year. Yeah, that's incredible. There's more people into the hobby than ever before. Manchester's sold out already. You can't get a ticket now, which is showing it's really good promise. So I would say that if you wanted to get buried in your list and just build a list, then the older editions might be better. But you would spend 6 hours building a list just for it to break the game, because apparently the older systems used to have kill point systems, so there was no objectives in 40k. So it was like you kill more. So what people did was you'd have a Grey Knights player have 2 big squads of paladins. That's 2 units, and if you played a normal army with some skirmish pieces or whatever, if you kill 2 units and they don't kill both of yours, you've won the game. Done.
Yeah, I remember back in the day having to deal with, I think it was, what the old are called, where they're like jet black, but then they have white helmets, all 3. And I think they had the Seer Council, and it was basically just like this massive Death Star block, and like you had to re-roll to hit, re-roll to wound, re-roll, just everything was re-roll, so they just wouldn't die, but they'd chuck out loads and loads of hits every turn. And so if you're trying to like kill something like that, you just can't get past it, so they would almost just like automatically win the match, which
But
definitely
there's
seemed to be
got-
much more
there's-
common back then.
There's mechanics like that now, though, aren't they? Like we just said that thing with Victrix Guard, where
But the thing
Yeah.
is,
But it's
I
a
think you
different
can just-
level.
Yeah.
It's a completely
It's
different
much
level.
milder.
Like to 10th edition, your Victrix Guard are broken. Like at the beginning of 10th edition, Eldar were broken. But compared to some of the stuff in the older editions, that's nothing. That's a crack on your windscreen. It's not, the whole windscreen hasn't come off. Like when Tau got released, that gun line was busted. As a Tau player who never played that edition, I've had to deal with the repercussions of that. And I was not even alive. I wasn't even probably alive when that happened.
I wasn't alive.
I wasn't alive.
So I think people love nostalgia, don't they? But when you go back
Yeah.
and you actually have it, you realise
yeah.
it's not as good as it was originally. You know, people
I
say,
was
"Oh,
gonna
I
say,
play this
essentially-
game again."
I think there has been. I'm not going to downplay and say simplification, because it's not that. It's not a simple game to play. But I think they have stripped back a lot of some of the uniqueness of it, because it is now so popular, and it has to be a streamlined system for these tournaments, and that is a big scene. And I don't blame them from, or give them a hard time for it, because you have to move with what your player base wants. And if your player base wants to play tournaments, which we're clearly seeing all across the UK, these events are selling out again and again and again, that there has to be a move to accommodate that. But what I do miss is a bit of the flavour. And you touched on this in part one, with your character or your unit would have different loadouts, and there'd be a point cost associated with that. Right now, you pick your character and you pick the loadout, and it's the same points. And I think there is a lot of that kind of customizable options that had an effect on your army cost that made you think a bit more. And I think there is little things that we've lost that I think would make sense. Not everything, because there was obviously bits of the game that were boring or didn't really work that well. But I think we are missing a little bit of the flavour from the playing aspect of it.
Well, the psychic phase, psychic powers in general, just more just like a little special ability or like an attack now. And it used to be like a whole phase, I think, didn't it? So you could really.
Yeah.
I have a controversial take on psychic.
So I could see Connor gearing up there.
He was squirming in his chair there.
I am happy psychic phase is no longer a thing. Now, I might be saying that because
You play
I'm a Tau
Tau,
player.
right, Connor?
Yes, but that's what I mean. So take that with a pinch of salt. But it dragged the game on for so long. I like the idea they did it. If you're a psychic heavy army, that should be baked into your army rule. It should be baked into your army rule. Thousand Suns, they didn't quite hit the mark, but it was quite close. They need to do something like that with the psychic heavy factions. Like they could have a psychic detachment for Eldari and make it a bit more spells and stuff like that. The whole army isn't the phase system itself is, because that means there's a phase that some factions don't get to cooperate in. Like if you're doing a spell against me as a Tau player, I'd have no response to it. I couldn't try and counter the spells because I have nothing that can do that. The ethereals, they try to do something with the ethereals, but it doesn't work.
Well, they're busy creating the greater.
They are busy creating the greater. But if someone's trying to doom bolt you, and then half the factions in the game can try and counter it, but the other factions can't do anything. Like Voltan, for example, wouldn't really be able to do anything. Orcs, unless you had a weird boy, couldn't do anything. Guard, unless you had some specific stuff, couldn't do anything. It's an uninteractive part of the game that got taken out because it was uninteractive. The whole idea is you're having a game with two people. So if I'm just sat there saying Doombolt, and there's no saves involved, there's no rolls you got to do, it just happens. There's just, okay, they're now that, that's going to happen. They roll, all right, I passed that, that's that. No way I could stop it. At least with Tau saying, I'm going to shoot you, okay, you have Armor of Contempt, you have defensive stratagems, and you get to choose what I get to shoot in the long run, really. With Psychic Phase, you don't have to see them. You're going to say, that unit there, boom. with a lot of stuff. It got taken out because it was uninteractive, and it was also another layer that made the game longer.
When was that removed?
This edition, it got removed in 10th. This is the first edition they've ever
prior
had
to
without
that, there was a psychic phase.
There was a psychic phase, yeah.
Hmm.
I think in other editions it might have been a bit more baked in here and there, and then sometimes it's been its own one. Like I remember, I think in third, when I used to play, like it was sort of depending on the psychic power, you could do it in different phases. So some psychic powers would be for movement phase, others would be for shooting, and yeah, you'd have to like pass your psychic test to be able to do it. And then if you failed it, you got the Perils of the Warp thing. Because Perils of the Warp attacks were always quite a fun little addition back in the day as well, where you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to supercharge this, and like, oh, my Farseer just turned into a pile of goo. But
That was the edition where the box game itself didn't have the psychic phase, and then you have to go out and buy, was it Dark Millennium, the add-on?
oh, you got all the cards, and you even had like
Yeah.
the little animated art on the card of like what each thing looked like. Yeah, that was wicked.
I remember the box set.
It would be cool if they did something in
So
like
why?
the data sheet. Like if a psychic unit has a psychic ability, like it's a spell, you got to roll to pass its leadership and do it. That's fantastic. No issue with that. A full phase of it though can be quite add a lot of time on to the game, which was the issue.
Why have so many people messaged and said it's not, like, the game is not as good as it used to be then? Well, some people were talking way back, like 4th edition. Someone said Horus Heresy basically is the new game to
Have
play.
you watched the Horus Heresy Battle
what-
Report? My word. I mean, I watched one and I was like, what is going on? It made no sense to me whatsoever. And I don't know, it's because
Really?
it's just,
Really?
it was, I couldn't figure it out. You were shooting out of phase. I think it was a much more in-depth reactive game, but it looked like a lot of hard work.
Did it? Has a lot of models in a Horus Heresy game as
but
well,
it's
right?
just, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And I mean, it's no disrespect, but I'm just like, that just seems like competitively, I don't see how that works.
Is there competitive sort of? I'm sure there are some, but is it nearly the same level as like 40k main for any of these other side systems?
No. Is it? It's weird. At Manchester, you'll see it. It'll be 90% of the hall will be 40k.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, like 80%, and you'll have 10% will be Kill Team, and 10% will be Horus Heresy in the back corner.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll
Where
be
do
it.
they play Magic?
They don't play Magic. Behave.
They're banned. There might be a couple of tables of Blood Bowl.
The
Yeah,
skirmish
Blood
games.
Bowl,
I
yeah.
think,
So
work
so
quite
come
well.
on, why are people saying this then? Why have people got really stirred up about the fact that it's not as good as it used to be? What's that all about?
Could it just be the fact, I might be wrong, but any game that comes out nowadays, whether it's a computer game, tabletop game, card game, that was an interesting noise. Yeah, people will complain about it no matter what. Someone's always going to be like, "Oh, the
yeah,
last version of this is
oh,
better,"
yeah.
or "What's missing from
Fucking
that?" or
mad,
what's-
eh?
Like,
Fucking
Yeah.
but people do. They just love
I-
because if you're a complaining voice, you're always
Hmm.
louder, especially on the internet, than everyone else.
I
You
because
never get
it's
somebody
like,
going,
"Oh,
yes,
this
you're
is-"
absolutely right. I completely agree. It's always, no, it's
Yeah.
not.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. How dare you guys have fun with this thing that I don't have to play if I don't want to? That's
No,
I think it was a very elite
James,
club
what
back
do
in
you
the day.
James, what do you think is the reason?
Well, I was going to say, do we think that the real beef here is some kind of people who play competitive 40k being disliked by people that don't, basically? I don't think it goes the other way. I've not come across anyone. I've only been playing since the autumn, but I've been to 3 tournaments, spoken to a load of different people, and they all still love the occasional sort of narrative match and that kind of thing, and taking time over the more casual aspect. But there seems to be a lot of dislike from those narrative casual players towards the competitive people. And is it just that kind of, I'm in my tribe, you're in yours, and I don't like you because you're a different tribe? I'm not sure. Because no
Maybe
one's
they
making
feel like
them,
it's
sorry, Matt.
no one's making them play competitive
Yeah.
matches. No one's making them take meta lists. If they want to play with their friends or go to a local club, they can still play Crusade games and take whatever kind of lists they want. They're then in sort of an almost a gentleman's agreement, aren't they? That right, don't you bring 18 Victrix Guard, Titus and his clan, Gilliman, Calgar, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because then everyone still have fun. I'm not sure why there's this hate. I mean, yes, competitive gaming, people are going to take the most competitive thing so they can win. But that's the point of a competition.
That's exactly it.
So I think you have to, if you go to a competition, you have to expect someone is going to be there with 18 Victrix Guard, Calgar, and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Or whatever it will be next month or next year or the year after. But no one's forcing you to do that. You can still play. I mean, you can still play 8th edition if you want to, couldn't you?
Yeah.
With your friends. Carry on and do whatever.
Connor's dying to get in. Go on.
Yeah. I think it's because Crusades had a lot of support as well. This edition, like it's every single codex has a Crusade section to it. There's also been 3 codex supplement stuff for Crusades. The Pariah Nexus. There was the one that just came out not long ago. That one, and then there's also now all this 500 world stuff, which is very narrative. I honestly think, and this is probably going to get the people in the comment section a bit angry if they disagree with me. I think it's because back in the day, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Warhammer wasn't as mainstream as it is now. It was their elite club with the people they knew, and they knew everything about it. They were the best. They knew everything about it. And I think as it's gotten more mainstream, more people coming in, doing better than them, and it's seeing it progress as much, I think there's a little bit of, not jealousy is the word, I think they preferred it when it was their game, not everyone's game. And I think they're still a bit bitter about it because they're not the best in the world anymore. They don't know everything about it because, beforehand you used to have to read a 200-page rule book and know the profile of every single little pistol in the game that you have to pay an extra 5 points for. It's now very mainstream and most people can pick it up. You can learn it relatively well. James picked it up in 6 months relatively well. Now he's playing at tournaments.
He played 2 games and went to London GT.
GT, yeah, and he did all, and he did all right, and he actually did all right at it, didn't he? So I think it's the fact that.
So on your point there, Connor. So a couple of the comments sort of resonate with that. So there was one person that commented. He said basically his local hardcore gamers told me after a very nice intro that I shouldn't bother. So, I mean, that seems like a strange mentality to me that they've introduced you to the game, but then they're sort of presenting this idea of like, well, don't bother getting into this game. That seems very, extremely negative.
In my opinion,
surely they could just say, well, you might enjoy the older editions because we prefer playing 4th, 5th, 6th or whatever.
So that's very, very rare. Usually when you have a thriving wargaming club, a lot of people will encourage you to join in. It's very. I don't think I've ever met anyone who says, "Nah, you shouldn't play it." Even if somebody says,
I think the context of that one is so broken now. Don't bother.
But the thing is, it isn't. That's what I don't understand. It's been the best time to get into the hobby now than there ever has been. It's the easiest to get in than it ever has been. Like, think about it. End of 9th edition, there was this massive bloat of rules. And it was very hard to get into. You had there was loads of different relics, hundreds. It was ridiculous. And now I can still say at near the end of 10th edition, I can pick from one of these detachments. My army rules relatively stayed the same. All my profiles are the same. It hasn't changed. You could go in and say, I want to learn. That detachment looks cool. I'm going to play it. Done. That's it. You only have to remember 6 enhancements, or was it 5 enhancements, or 4 enhancements, 6 stratagems. That's it. Nothing else. Like, beforehand, I first came back into this heavily at the end of 9th, and I couldn't get my head around 9th. Yes, James Katz agrees. James Katz agrees.
It's his dog. It's his dog.
It's the dog. It's the dog.
Somebody needs a peppermint tea.
It's not a dog.
The dog disagrees.
That is a cat.
It's a dog. It's a dog.
Matt, what did you want to say, Matt?
I think I'm just kind of following on for that. I think there's always going to be those that want to relive the glory days, but I don't think they were as good as they think they were. And I just see thriving clubs. I mean, I talk about the Kinross Club here a lot, and I can't get over you go in there on a club night and there's 50 people there. We've got 40k, D&D, spearheads, and there's everybody from 12 to 60 are all in there, playing together, learning together, talking. And it's like, where else are you going to see that spread of ages and people all in one room just having a good time? And I think that's it. I think this game doesn't need to be any more complicated. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered, because so many people are limited for time. They don't have time to spend weeks reading every single scrap of thing, and I think we have to move with the times. It is more mainstream than it's ever been, and I think that's a great thing. We've got the best models we've ever had. I couldn't believe it coming, having a 20-year break and going, oh my God. It was incredible. It was like, having watched movies on VHS and then watched nothing and then come back in IMAX. That's what it was like.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
I mean, as a painter, I couldn't get over how good it was, and I came in purely from a painting aspect, and then thought, well, I should probably learn to play. And now I'm very much 50-50. I'm really enjoying playing, and I think the rules work. I think they are quite balanced. I think it is a good pace. I don't think it'd be more complicated than they are. There's a lot of things I would change, but that's by the by. But I do think this is a great point to be in the hobby and get into the hobby if it's what you want to do. There's so much to go at, whether it's 40k or Kill Team or ALS, or you've got Space Marine 2. Whether you're a video gamer or an actual gamer or a painter, this is an amazing time to be in the hobby, in my opinion.
Well, one of the complaints that someone raised was that the game changes too quickly now. All the rules are updated too quickly. Because chasing the meta or whatever. What do we think about that? Is that a valid?
That's your
complaint,
choice.
do we think?
That's your choice.
Yeah.
If you want to chase the meta, chase the meta.
I think the complaint used to be that the rules took too long to update, so if something was broken, you had to wait months for it to get fixed. And now people complain about the rules are updated too quickly. It's like you can't win, but surely having more up-to-date rules.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit frustrating
with rules change for balance.
You buy Codex, or you buy the Codex cards, and then next month they're out of date. That's a bit annoying.
In my opinion, when it comes to the balance, realistically, when the Codex comes out, the weapon profiles and the unit profiles should never really be changed unless there's something's broken. They should change the rules on keywords and abilities. That should be the issue with most models. Like Admech was, in my opinion, was an appalling example. That entire Codex is now useless, and that should never be the case. Like I have no issues with points changes whenever you want. I have no issues with core rule changes that need to be done, like the devastating wound stuff at the beginning. That's perfectly fine. What I don't accept is when half your Codex's guns are different online than they are in your book. That should never be a thing, in my opinion. I think minor changes, like if you have most, like my entire army, I had 2 data cards changed the entire edition. That's absolutely fine, in my opinion. But Admech, I've had easy 10, 12 changes. Which is ridiculous.
That's frustrating.
That's too far.
I mean,
I understand if you're an Admech player why.
I think some of it's quite funny though. Some of it's like silly clarifications that if we just applied some common sense, this was not needed.
Yeah,
like the one that made me laugh. I was when I was in that, I was double checking some of the Votan stuff, and I was just checking I wasn't missing anything with the data update, and it was for the Sagitteur, which are the small troop carrier. They had to put a clarification because in the Codex it says it can carry Hearthkin or Jaegers, but can't do Steeljacks or Thunderkin or Hearthguard. But then I had to release a clarification, and also Chthonian Earthshakers, which is the mortars. So obviously, because it didn't say Chthonian Earthshakers, people were putting Chthonian Earthshakers in the Sangateurs and blasting them up the board. It's like common sense. You're not putting a mortar in the back of a van. It's like, come on.
It's probably been done before, Matt.
We've been there.
The fact they had to put that in means that someone was at a tournament. Like,
someone was
doing this. It doesn't say I can't put a Hecaton in the back of Sangateur, so I can't put a Hecaton in the back.
Yeah.
Come on, bit of common sense, please.
Yeah.
But it is. But I agree with Connor though. I think if the weapon profiles and everything are out, they really should stay. Because it does get quite annoying these changes and not knowing the changes, or not everybody has the Codex, or using third party builder apps, and it's just how up to date is it, and you can't go back to the the online codex if it's out of date,
Yeah.
or it's
The
different
saving
from
grace
the
is
paper
the app.
codex.
The saving
Yeah.
grace is the app. Without the app, I would be lost when it comes to rules, because you don't have to worry about the points. All updates for you. The app is a prime aspect of why we are in the Golden Age, because you don't even need to pay the subscription for the app. As long as you have your codex, but your codex code and you have the rules, they're not asking you to pay for that. You can build one free army, I believe, one list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on-
One list. You can just keep on deleting that and building another one. But
Yeah.
most people will I get the subscription. Most people generally, if they're willing to spend thousands of pounds on miniatures, $4.99 a month for an app
Yeah,
is
month's
not
not-
going to. You're doing it, aren't you?
Yeah, and you can get a wee bit of a workaround, because I both my Space Marine and my Votan codex I got second hand, and the code's been used. However, you can still build your army. You can still pick your weapon profiles. You just can't see the profiles.
Can't see the
But
rules.
then you can use. Yeah, but then if you have the codex, you've got the rules anyway.
Yeah.
And then if you want to see the profiles on your tablet, there is things like List Forge and War Organ that have that, so you can just rebuild the list and see everything.
Yeah,
But it's
'Cause
a
I
bit more.
use
But there's
Warorgan 'cause-
workarounds.
Yeah, I use Wargryn
But the
because
app's
I am
amazing.
tight enough where I don't want to pay for it. But it seems to work fine, and you can just click through to everything there, and it's got all
Yeah.
the rules. Yeah, it's been well
But
handy,
they're not-
especially when
they're
you've
not-
got
there's still
James with you
mistakes,
to
but-
pester.
But the app is very good. The app is still one of the best
The app
army
is
building apps
fantastic.
out there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Do we think that, so the tech side of things, so apps and updates online, and you think that's mostly positive then?
Yes. The only thing
Yeah.
they need to do is make a premium subscription. And I say this not meaning to sound like an idiot. I would pay, if you made a premium subscription for £20 a month, 20 quid, right? But you had access to every single codex, I'd pay it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to. I have to go out and buy. If I want to know somebody else's army rule, I have to go out and buy their codex and put a code in to be able to see it. Why they could make so much money? Like, I will only ever buy my codex and maybe another army's codex. Obviously, I am. But if I was be able to spend 20 quid a month, but I could see everybody's codex, I would do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go out and pay
Especially
20
when you're
quid per
playing competitively.
codex. Yeah, I'm not going to go out and buy
Yeah.
20 codexes to put in the codes. I'm not going to do that, but I would pay to have every single codex unlocked. That's the last phase, to have digital only rules available.
What about the fact that having, so technology, internet, gaming groups, etc., is sort of driving someone will play an army at a tournament, they'll win, and then everyone else will be able to see exactly what that army was, how they played, etc., etc. So then everyone goes and copies that. Do we think that armies and just the game style used to be a lot more individual, independent before it's kind of gone a bit more mainstream? Maybe that's what people are missing.
I think it depends where you're playing. If you're playing competitively, that's exactly what's probably going to happen. They're either going to build a list that's similar or build a list to beat it, as the two sides. But if you're not playing, competitively, and you're just playing your local club, you're building a list you want to play. You're building a list that's fun, that you enjoy. So I think there's two players there, definitely. For example, I'm first GT Manchester. I've built a list that I think is a bit of both. You know what? There's how I play it. I think it's quite a fun way of playing it. It's not going to win. It's not going to. It's going to perform. I think quite well.
Never say never.
No, I'll say never. But it's a fun.
Might win best painted.
Definitely good. I think at GTs, I think there are still a split between people that just take an army because they like it and it's what they want to do and it's nice and casual and laid back. And then there's a few people where it's a lot more competitive and where's that music coming from?
I don't know.
I think my girlfriend's watching Emily in Paris in the other room, so I'll put myself on my.
Oh.
That's going on in the background. That's what it is.
See, I don't.
So I keep looking away over there.
I don't think the internet has killed all the flavour. I mean, the last GT, a guy had taken a Lord of Skulls, and that's not on any meta list anywhere. You know, there are still people just doing stuff for fun and going to GTs, but that was like a 36-40 person GT, and I would say there was an almost 50-50 split, and you could see it after the first couple of games. My side of the room, the losers, or the people just having fun, were all of a similar mindset, and all our armies were just a hodgepodge of people that had taken stuff which they thought was cool. Like a guy was using 2 Bane Blades in the Imperial Guard army, stuff like that, you know.
Nice.
Huge they are, bloody huge, like the size of a laptop. And the other side of the room, there were a lot more. This is like a list that's going to win. I've researched this. I've watched all the Art of War videos or tabletop tactics or whatever. And this is why I've taken this list, because I want to try and win games. So I still even think there's still creativity, and it's down to more an individual choice.
Skill.
I don't think the internet has
It's
killed.
down to skill as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and just if the guy who breaks the mold is Liam VSL, because no one can say his second part of his name, Belgian chap. The list he took 3 times to London GT was a real hodgepodge, which other people think looks like a total joke. It's completely random, and he's gone 30 wins, 0 losses, won London GT 3 times in a row. You know, so that in itself is a perfect example that you don't need to be that person taking 10 Fire Dragons or 18 Victrix Guard or whatever the thing is at the time.
Yeah.
Out of interest, what was that list?
Was that the guard one with the hundreds of guard, wasn't it?
No, he's
just-
Chaos Space Marines,
last one.
Veterans of the Long War. He had Fabius Bile in there, a whole lot of some Noise Marines. It's a real hodgepodge of stuff. A couple of Obliterators. It's a
Nice.
real
A
random hodgepodge.
So it could
And
be
it-
he's just playing narrative games in his head because he's gotten
Hmm.
so good at the game, so he needs to make it more difficult for himself in all these tournaments.
Yeah, maybe
It's good
just
to have
it's
the
a
winning
challenge,
challenge.
yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
awkward list.
But then even in the competitive, I'm gonna slice in. You know, you've sliced the sandwich in half. I'm gonna put it in quarters now. Even in that top end of the competitive side, he's chopped the ham sandwich in half. I'm gonna make
Yeah,
it
no,
little squares.
I know what you
now.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I see what you do.
Matt looked at me strangely, and obviously he doesn't have quarters. He probably has squares.
That's just Matt. He's just
Yeah.
looking at you
Right.
strangely.
I'm
Um,
more of a triangles man. Coming to triangles, yeah.
I'm a triangles man as well. But anyway,
Tastes
we're
better in
detailing
triangles.
here. Yeah, it does.
That's how it would be in Pret a Manger anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
Damn right.
There's 2 different types of players in the competitive side, like the truly competitive side. There is the people that love the hobby and the game still, that enjoy it, and stories are made, and it's fantastic. People, if I see someone bring Victrix Guard that are beautifully painted and look like they've put real effort into it, I have no issue. If I see you bring 12 Victrix Guard that have barely come out the box, barely have been painted, and you just want to do it because you have an edge, I will make it my life's mission to make sure you lose every game I play against you, and I will enjoy it. There's
That's
2
fair.
types of
That's
competitive
fair.
players. If you have your army that you've been playing the hobby and you've been playing your faction for so long that you have all the models, that you painted them lovely, you've converted some, it looks fantastic. This has been your
They've got
life
names.
hobby. Fantastic. There's epic deeds they've all done, and you've got a really cool meta list with it. Fine, they'll beat me. That's fine, no issue. You come barely, you've borrowed your mate's Victrix Guard that completely different to the rest of your army. Then I will happily come in with a list built to destroy you, and I will enjoy it.
Yeah.
I said it in text as well.
Consider that sandwich quarters.
My life at GTs is to build a list that will deliberately kill the meta. Like if I go against 100 Orc boys, I'm dead. That's fine. I can live with that. My life is to make the people who bring the meta suffer.
Punish those bullies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
I'm Robin Hood.
That is it.
I am Robin Hood of Manchester GT. That's what I will be.
Nice.
If Connor, if you now turn up with a massive load of Victrix Guard yourself, like, oh yeah, switch to Space Marines.
No.
I would only
I'll let you know.
I'll know ahead of time.
Yes.
How quick
I
can
would
you
only
get
ever play
Victrix Guard
Victrix. I would
Yeah,
only
yeah.
ever play Victrix if I was building an Ultramarine army. If I had the full blue Ultramarine army, looked gorgeous, I would do it. But if I'm not
You
Ultramarines,
can
why
have
am I
that, Connor.
getting? I could have it, but I won't. I would rather do Blade Guard because Blade Guard look cooler, in my opinion. I'd rather have the Blade
They do
Guard.
look very cool.
They do look fantastic. Oh, there we
They're
go.
lovely.
Connor
I
has-
have to admit,
They are
I really love them.
excellently painted.
Connor's touched on something there, which I'd forgotten about. But I was in the last GT. The guy I played in the first match, really nice guy, Liam. Really helpful, gave me loads of good advice afterwards. But I saw that it was Imperial Fists versus Imperial Fists. I sort of the night before, and thought, oh, blimey, this is a bit sad, but it's going to be fun seeing them all on the table. Got there, and his army was actually a Dark Angel's army, which he was running as Imperial Fists.
Oh,
So it's all fully painted, of course, and all looked nice. But straight away, I did feel slightly sad. I was like, oh, that's a little bit sad. But it's
Why
well
had
within
he
the
done
rules.
that?
Yeah,
Well, just because he wanted to
doesn't
run.
matter what colour your Space Marines are, you can run whatever you want.
Yeah. He just wanted to run them under the Darnath Lysander. Was it Shield of the Emperor? Emperor's Shield detachment. Completely crushed me, by the way. But it did make me feel a bit sad that
Yeah.
it's Imperial Fists, but they're not Imperial Fists. And that again, but that's
Yeah.
again, if you go to competitions, you have to accept that's potentially going to happen.
So just in general, do we feel like the kind of emergence of more competitions, more competitive gameplay? Do we think that has driven the way the game has gone 100%?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
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 Time-wise, it's time. Because we all know, just playing a casual game with a friend, if you're chatting and not really at it, you quickly run over 3 hours and you don't get a game finished in the
Easy.
night.
Hmm.
So let alone
and
a
you forget all your
competition.
stratagems, don't you, James?
Bloody right, yeah. I'm writing them
Well,
down.
you always do.
I'm actually writing them down next time. But yeah, time-wise, 3 hours, it's enough if you're really on it and sharp and like bam, 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 bam. And even then, lots of games don't get finished. So we don't need more rules and stuff. It's even outside of a competition, who's got like 4.5 hours spare to play a game? I mean,
So
some people might have, but that's a lot of time out of
So
your
what's
day,
the
isn't it?
counter of this? Maybe. Sorry, back in the day, were the armies then correspondingly more expensive points-wise? I think as well. So
No,
you could
you
have
had
maybe
less.
more rules and more speciality because you had much less to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say
You
that's
had
a
like
thing.
two
Yeah.
squads and yeah.
It was 1,500
So it's
points
in-
was the average back in 8th and 7th edition. 1,500 points was the norm for ages.
Yeah.
And I will still say that I think 1,500
Some people
points
want that back.
would be a better. I would rather have it even 1,750 because it also puts a bit more flavour into list building. 2,000 points, you
Yeah.
can bring 3 units of Victrix Guard, and then you can have an army behind it. 1,500 points, you bring 3 units of Victrix. All right, apart from your Victrix, what else you got?
Yeah.
Nothing really.
There is a big
Yeah,
call
it
for that. I've
forces
heard a
you to
lot of
bring some
people
that
say
battle line.
there could be something they change.
So
But
that
what-
is a tweak they could make.
They did a poll.
I mean, that seems.
about it. They did a vote. They did a vote, and 2,000 points won it. It was 1,500, 1,750, or 2K. 2K. won.
It seems like that reduction of game time is probably. So, Matt, you mentioned earlier about the game. They've got to move with the times. And if your audience, your customer base has less disposable time, which we all do nowadays, like no one's got as much time as we did, like maybe
and-
when you were younger. But I just mean like 15, 20 years ago, it seems like everyone had more time because they're not constantly connected via technology. So yeah, they've got to make a game that is more streamlined and shorter and that we can fit in 2 or 3 hours.
That's what I think.
I mean, our games used to take a whole day.
Yeah. And I think
Easy.
that they've tried that badly with the combat patrol, and I think I'm hoping for 11th they do. I've not played Spearhead yet, but they've started playing it at the club, and it's fast. Like I watched them. We were playing our league games. It was 2,000 point games, and in the time it took to play, when we didn't finish our game, but in the 3 hour window, somebody played 3 games of Spearhead, and it's it's
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
paced, it's well balanced, it's quick, and that's what 40k needs. Something that works at a lower point level that only takes you, an
Yeah.
hour.
Boarding patrol, but without the £5,000 worth of terrain.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Beautifully summed up. Dragging us away from gaming. We've talked about models a little bit. What else about the hobby? There's a whole world surrounding the game now. seems like a pretty obvious answer, but do we feel like everything's better now than it was back in the day? I mean, we talked the other day about the artwork and how the artwork's got quite sterile because it's kind of generic, and whereas back in the day there was a lot more creativity and crazy, creepy, weird things going on. Is there anything? What's people's opinions on that kind of stuff?
I think they've had to play it safer than they used to be able to because the times have changed. And I'll say this only once. People get no, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. It's very, it's very, very easy to offend people these days.
Mm-hmm.
That you
I'm
have to be
offended by
careful.
that.
There you go. It's very easy to offend people these days.
Yeah.
And they've
Yeah.
got to be
But
careful.
what I like, but what I like about that, and I totally agree with you, Connor, I think they have to be very careful with that. But they haven't gone too extreme and gotten rid of everything. You know, it's all still there. You know, you read the books and it's all still existing. They're just not, you know, putting in your face. You know, that the way you're talking, the classic artwork, and there's always something weird in the back. You know, somebody with 4 arms and a bum on their head or something.
Yeah.
But it's all there. They're not trying to draw a veil under it and hide it. So I think they've got the balance right. But they're right. If it's more mainstream than it's ever going to be, then they have to kind of pull it back a little bit. And I'm okay with that because it means more investment, bigger hobby. I can only be a positive thing.
It can.
But do you not think that 40k is in danger of being too sanitized and losing its character? Because 40k is pretty dark, and that is a big, for me, that's what draws me to it, because it's dark, it's interesting, exploring that aspect of people.
I wouldn't,
because I can't think of anything that's been sanitized from it.
No, I wouldn't say
Even
it's
from
been
the past.
sanitized.
I can't think of anything they've really toned down or taken away. They've never. It's always been very happy with the violence. Obviously, anything sort of
fine.
Sex related has been relegated to Slanesh or Dark Elder, and even then that's been minimized to
You know it's there, they just don't talk about it that often.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah. But I can't think of anything they've sort of gotten rid of or really changed to sanitize it for the mass market.
I would say the only major issue is
examples spring to mind anyway.
Rather than we losing what we have, I don't think the needle's moved much forward lore-wise. You've had some more Tyranids invasions. You've had the new 500 worlds about to come out. That's only happening because of Space Marine 2. Yeah. Think about it. If you're an Eldar fan, you had all this your lore's not moved. Chaos Marines, ever since Cadia fell, nothing has changed. You know, some of the loyalists, you got a few Primarchs back, that's a little bit, but even then, the lines come back, it's not impacted the world at all yet. I think it's the fact that beforehand the lore was moving at a steady rate. At the point as now, it's hit a standstill. 2 codexes, my entire faction has not expanded onto another sphere yet. You know what I mean? Even if there's a few little mini stories and stuff, but our next big thing hasn't happened. Our next big lore advancement, we haven't had we've almost been destroyed, something along the lines of that. Nothing has happened. It's everyone is a threat and no one is a threat at the same time. It's really strange.
To counter that, though, before Gilliman came back, there kind of wasn't really any major movement in the 40k universe for the first 20 years it existed, or 15,
that was quite
18
a big
years.
leap.
Yeah, and then I think it's sort of been...
The Cadian Gate fell, didn't it?
section.
That was pretty big, wasn't it?
But that was that's maybe where it all started, but even that was... They had, before that, a few, worldwide campaigns and stuff where people would call in, maybe Cadia was actually the first one, would call in results and stuff, and then it was always sort of retconned away. I think it's only in the past 5 years, maybe a bit longer, that they've really started consistently pushing new stuff out. When previously, I think they tried to keep it very much as the static setting.
Yeah.
So you could always play your dudes, and then they finally realized we can kill off people and move it forward. So I think we're almost at the fastest moving stages we've been in for a while. That's my point of view. I might be missing bits out here.
No, I sort of, but Connor, I get what you're saying, but Connor's point was that the Imperial side of things is moving kind of quickly, but for everyone else, it's not really moving with
There's
it.
a
Perhaps.
good bit of
sorry,
chaos.
Connor.
I
Yeah,
would
no,
say
that's a
I
really
would
good
say that
point.
chaos is doing all right. I think obviously they've had all the Demon Primarchs come out. It's been quite cool. There's been a lot of different things going on. But think about it, Vortan. Vortan are a new faction, right? What have we learned? What have they done since they've come out?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, that is a good point. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
They've been busy.
Timidi's have been all right.
Yeah.
You've had Leviathan, I get that. That's not been too bad. You had this edition really helped move Tyranids forward a little bit. What was it? Necrons, nothing. Tau, nothing. Eldar, you had all that massive thing with what they call when they all came together. What was that called? Come on, help me out here, James. I know you're quite good on your stuff. What's it called? The Yanari stuff. That
Yes.
plot line was
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah, Linari, yeah.
Gone. Stopped it. Yep, stopped it moving. Drakari, nothing. I'm trying to think of other Xenos. Gene Stealers, that kind of plays into the Tyranid thing, doesn't it? So I just thought, outside of the Imperium, it's not really moved.
The cynic in me thinks it's because Space Marines sell. I mean, I've seen it. My own Instagram. I post about a Space Marine against a Votan. The difference is like night and day. And I don't know whether it's been they've kind of just, well, look, we're running hot. People like this. Let's just lean into it.
This is true. But then again, your faction's lore could progress through the Imperium. Like a Tau expansion into Imperial space, massive Imperial crusade to counter hit that. Is the Tau Empire about to fall? Could this be the end of them? Boom, that's a fantastic plotline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not short of chapters that could be sent to deal with this sort of thing. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this is very true. Like there could just be a bit more giving sway in the lore a little bit more like putting other factions into the, like, realistically the Space Marines have been known, and the Imperium has been known to ally with lots of different factions in times of need. Like, it's really only ever Eldar, really. Imagine if Chaos was about to destroy a really important sector, the Imperium is at the brink, and out of slip space, I don't know, a Tau force came without any request and just, helped, and then that would at least be a little bit for them in there, but it's not. It's kind of really weird, even though lore-wise it is more than probable.
But yeah, it would be fun if there was more of that.
concern when they brought back Gilliman, agreed. My concern when they brought back Gilliman and started talking about what were the Citrix malady, the split and all of that kind of stuff,
Crusades and stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. So then my worry at that point is that the feel of 40k started to shift a little bit. You went from what was very definitely a dying empire and everything hanging on the emperor who's dead, and just this sense that the Imperium is crumbling bit by bit by bit, and there's no stopping it, and everyone is just pushing back against darkness. To, well, here's Gilliman, and all of a sudden he's kind of pushing back out. Yeah, and so that it seems like maybe not such a big thing, but all of a sudden it was like, well, okay, well, are we changing direction here? Is this actually going to become a bit of a hero story almost of, is that really going to change the nature? And that felt like it coincided with quite a big shift towards mainstream, especially with Space Marine 2 and stuff like that.
You need something devastating to happen, but then you got to be careful. You can't kill the Dark Angel chapter off, because then you'll annoy all the people who play Dark Angel. So you got to be careful as well that it doesn't impact. The lore does not impact the game too bad. You can't get rid of characters, really. You can't get rid of factions, obviously. You can't get rid of chapters because it annoys people. So you've got to make up chapters just for them to get destroyed. It's stupid. It really is sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to have things that seem important but are disposable.
Like the Avatar of Cain.
Or...
I mean, let's just say the Imperial Fists had a rumble with the Orcs, and Gazgul kills Darnath Lysander. No one cares that Lysander's dead.
I would say all the Imperial Fist fans that have the model would care if he's dead.
Yeah, but that's just kind of the way it goes. And I would say what you do, you tie that in with a Codex release, and then bam, here's a new hero of the Imperial Fists.
Mm-hmm. But then but then people are like, well, we've paid money and time and effort to buy this model, which wasn't cheap, that I now can't play because the character's dead.
But you can still play it. You just say we're doing a battle that took place before he got.
Yeah, but then the rules get put to his model, then get put to legend, so you can't play in a competitive level.
Yeah,
it's what it has to be worded like. okay, the Imperial Fist had a massive fight with such and such. The entire second and third company were almost wiped out from scratch, but these key characters survived.
Yeah. So yeah, the age-old thing of if you're a named Space Marine, you're kind of invincible.
Then again, they did kill Yarick off, didn't they? They have to do it
Yeah,
in the
they
long
killed
run.
off.
coming back.
They have to do it like in the long run. So you have to wait like 10 years while Lysander hasn't had a new model, and then once his model looks dated compared to the rest, then you kill him off.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually.
Yeah, kind of
That's how you
that.
do it.
Yeah.
That's how you have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then again, if Farsight ever got killed off, I would be pissed.
Yeah, you'd be
Like, there's no-
fuming.
I would be fuming. Like
What
we don't
about
have
if in-
many named characters, so we don't have many.
Let's just
We have
say, in,
three.
let's just say, 5 years' time, they kill off Farsight, but
Yep.
you can then go into your local Games Workshop with your Farsight model and trade it in for a 50% discount on the new hero. Would you do that?
Depends what the hero was.
Games Workshop giving a discount.
Depends what the hero. If he got replaced by somebody else, and they said, okay, but now we're going to honor him. He's a new commander that plays just like Farsight, and he comes with a bodyguard with fusion blades. Yes, but you'd have to give
Yeah,
me a
well-
lot more than what you're taking away from me.
But they would, because that's what always happens. New stuff's always got more and bigger and better.
You speak to Dark Eldar. I think they disagree with that.
Well, yeah, there seems to be mixed opinions, doesn't there, on their new stuff, but yeah. Yeah, they're
If you're not a Space Marine faction, you could lose a lot of stuff, and you're not guaranteed to get it back.
Right. Let's go.
Okay, I think we'll have to sadly wrap it up there. But who
you
knows?
got part
Part
three.
three could be
Part
yeah,
three,
part part three. It's going to be this could be an on-running thing because things are changing all the time, aren't they? But cool. Thanks very much for that. And James, we're going to close out with your who would win.
Got my notes as usual.
Nice.
So we're in the Colosseum. 1-on-1. In the blue corner, we have. I've stepped away from characters this time. So in the blue corner, we have a Thunderwolf.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So the mighty Thunderwolf, 8 feet tall at the shoulder. I mean, just look at the room you're in now. The ceiling is 8 feet high. That is the height of that Thunderwolf's shoulder. His head is
All
like
of us went.
His
"Oh,
head
yeah."
is in the next. His head is upstairs somewhere. So they're huge, huge beasts. Weigh in at 1,500 kilograms, I'm guessing, which is 230 stone for the English people, and for the Americans, 3,200 pounds. Often augmented by the Iron Priests to have adamantium claws, adamantium teeth and jaws. So, we're talking some pretty serious, powerful things here. And I've scaled in what a normal wolf in Alaska or somewhere would bite like, sized it up, looked at what a great white shark does. I think they'd be more powerful at biting than a great white shark. We're talking 5,000 pounds per square inch, maybe more.
Nice.
So
I've
they could
really
chomp
enjoyed
off-
this, by the way.
Easily
This is...
chomp a man in half. No
Yeah.
worries whatsoever.
Num num num.
Nom
Okay,
nom nom. They're fast, agile, incredible endurance, like any wolf has. Run a marathon and say, "Hey, come on, let's throw a ball around and chase that as well." And their fur isn't like fluffy and furry. It's described as being like wire wool,
Werewolf,
basically.
yeah.
Oh,
Very sort of tough and hardy.
itchy.
Okay.
In the red corner, we have the mighty Bullgryn, standing at 10 feet tall, weighing in at 1,000 kilograms, it's 160 stone, 1,200 pounds for those over in the United States. Freakish strength, very thick skin, very, very thick. Probably skin similar to think like an elephant, or a rhino. That's how thick and tough their skin is. Freakishly strong, very high pain threshold. There's stories of them having like an arm ripped off, but continuing to fight, not being bothered, fighting through the pain. Being shot and stuff isn't going to slow this guy down. You've got to kill him. He has no armor, but I'm saying he's carrying a shield and one of their mauls. So a great big giant
Okay.
mace, basically.
This is
Who
literally-
would win?
I'm thinking
This-
like
that's a real like
Spartans here.
Colosseum setting.
I'm
isn't
thinking
it?
like Spartans, when he goes out to the wilderness to kill a wolf.
yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
that vibe.
Yeah.
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 I
I'm
am thinking we
thinking
need
of,
like like the wrestling boxing music underneath that as he's reading out
Yeah.
the list.
yeah.
In the blue corner.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm thinking if there's a King Kong film where he fights that Tyrannosaurus. That's what pops into my mind.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Yeah.
I think I go
What do you
for
think,
the
Matt?
I go Thunderwolf because I've just been like, the more I read and I learn lore. So that you heard, maybe not heard the same, but there are no wolves on Fenris, because that's the thing. The Thunderwolves, actually, I might be wrong, but this is what they've been hitting around. I've been listening to Ashes of Prospero, and the Thunderwolf are actually the Marines who went beyond wolfing. So I take the Thunderwolf over the Ogren.
That's a
Because
cool
Fenris
idea.
didn't have
Yeah.
wolves.
Yeah.
Fenris, there was no wolves on Fenris. And there still isn't, because all the Thunderwolves are actually Marines that have gone beyond the wolfing stage.
Such a cool piece of lore.
So I'm taking the Thunderwolf over that Ogren because it used to be a Space Marine. It's fast, it's
Yeah.
agile. Yeah. One round that neck, and it's just like, boop.
One chomp.
Yeah.
The Ogrins, they're not the smartest of guys, are they?
No.
No, very simple-minded. But they're
Yeah.
very aggressive, and they like a fight.
It's like an
It's a
orc.
good matchup, whichever way
Yeah.
you look at it. It is a good matchup.
I think I
Dan?
go Bullgryn.
Go on, Connor. Why?
Go on, Bullgryn. I don't know. I just feel like he's more mobile for it. Like, I don't know. I just, all I see is he just dodges it once. Looks at the wolf's all over him. Next thing you know, grabs him around the neck, snaps it, done. Bosh.
No,
Yeah.
I,
But the Bullgryn
Yeah,
gets
like
him in a
he's-
headlock, is what you're thinking.
Yeah, I just think the Bullgryn has him. To be fair, I just see the Bullgryn having him.
So without
Dan?
derailing it too much, I can see a version of this where the Bullgryn accidentally pats the Thunderwolf on the head. The Thunderwolf kind of likes it, lies down with his leg.
And they become best of friends.
Yeah.
and right off in the sunset together.
Say that doesn't happen. The very unlikely chances that doesn't happen. Yeah, I think I'd have to go Wolf with this one. He's just got, if we're going with Matt's theory as well, he's got a bit more, and he's probably about as intelligent as a Bullgryn.
Yeah.
More so.
And I feel like he probably wants to be there having a bit of a ruck. I feel like some of the stuff I've read about Ogrins and Bullgryns, they're probably more likely to be like goaded into it or just pointed in that direction.
Yeah,
And he's
go in
probably
there and
like,
fight that
"Fucking
wolf.
all
Yes,
right."
sir.
Yeah. When the wolf's like, oh, I get to eat this guy if I
It's
get him.
predatory.
That's
It's
great.
cunning.
Yeah.
It's on another level. I think it's more intelligent than Ogren. It can leap.
Yeah, I
It's
think
got
we'll go
claws
in
and big
Thunderwolf
snappy
here.
teeth.
Two for the
Definitely.
wolf, one
Body.
for the Bullgryn / Ogren. Steve?
I was thinking the Ogren until Matt said about the potential for them to be ex-Space Marines, because that changes how potentially cunning they might be, and they might be able to, because in a just a one-on-one sort of clash, I'm just thinking about like a police dog charges in, grabs an arm. Well, that's great, that arm's taken out, but then he's got his bat, he's got his shield, he can just a dog, like, it can't really defend itself. It's just got that big main attack weapon of just that it can clamp onto a part of your body, but then it leaves you a big mace to sort of smash it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they're a bit
Yeah,
more
but
cunning,
that's a police dog versus an 8-foot tall thunderwolf.
Yeah.
Grabbing your
That's
arm,
just
because theoretically it could
Yeah,
grab
that
that
arm's
arm
gone,
and then
yeah.
throw him.
and beat him with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my money's on the wolf. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that
'cause
means the wolf takes it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I would have come down the side of the Bullgryn. I'd have been with Connor. I think it just have that little, having the shield and the giant mace to maul. I think if you manage to land one blow, could he get the wolf injured enough?
Break a back
Um,
leg.
No, I did
Yeah.
forget about the shield and the maul.
Yeah, but with the
That does
adamantium
change it.
teeth and claws, that would just tear it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm also basing it on old King Kong and Sinbad films. which I watched as a kid.
Yes.
In those, it was always the giant Cyclops or the ogre that wins. So I'm basing it on that.
Or again, but
and-
going back to the mace, that does look suspiciously stick-shaped.
Mm.
Yeah, fetch.
Oh, right, yeah. Just put some peanut butter on the end. That was a good matchup, James.
Yeah, nice
Thank
one.
you. That was good. Right. Well, that's pretty much it from us this week.
Awesome.
Let's just go around. Just where can we find everyone? Matt, where can we find you?
You'll find me on Instagram on old.varg.
Nice and simple. Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Find me on Instagram at Collins Cadre Command. You can also see me at rogueminiatures.com. I always get it wrong. Always get it wrong. Oh, is it .co.uk?
.co.uk.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just thought I forget it. .co.uk.
I thought you'd get
One
it this
day, one
week.
day,
I
one
thought
day,
you'd
one
get
day,
it.
one day.
One
Yeah,
day I
one
will.
day.
One day I will.
James, how about yourself?
Instagram for me, blasted.miniatures.james. You'll find me there.
Sweet. Happy days. And Dan, you've got your TikTok
Yes.
up and running now.
Yeah, it's Grimdan at TikTok.
Nice. I'm going to see some nids.
Sounds like when
Um,
you miss it's like when you
awesome.
let off a fart and you go, oh, that's grim, Dan.
Oh, it's Grim.
Grimdan.
I really like that name, and now ruined forever.
Not anymore.
You're welcome.
If you want to get in, if you want to get in contact with the show, you can email us at studio@rogue-miniatures.co.uk. If you're a fan of battle report channels and you haven't already found Daily Dice, please go and check them out. They do regular reports with some nice looking armies, and we will, I promise, have Sam on at some point, and Connor and possibly James going to be visiting them as well at some point.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, but
Check out
that's it
the
from us.
quick shout out to him before we go. Check out his vlog that he did from Nottingham GT.
Yeah,
Really good little
very
watch.
good.
Half an hour
Yeah,
or
I
so.
watched it.
Cool.
Really
I'll
good.
check that out.
There you go. Well, that's it from us. Thanks very much. See you next time.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Ladies.
Peace.
Bye.
Rogue transmission ending.